Big Nev, welcome to the Granite Zero podcast. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome. Thank you, man.
And like I said before I hit record, fantastic mustache. You have gone full Magnum PI on that one.
I have, yeah. But my wife keeps telling me I look like Freddie Mercury, so I'm not sure.
Is that a bad thing?
I can't sing.
Can't sing. You could try.
When I'm sober, I can't sing. When I had a few cups of coffee in me,
yeah,
I can.
You're doing the housework. Can't help it with the Hoover and that.
Doing the housework, doing that. There's a music video of Queen and them all doing the vacuum. I think there is.
Yeah, there is, mate. As soon as it comes on, it's got to be done. I want to break free. To be fair, like I keep saying to my missus that I'm just going to go full mustache because that's like the best facial hair that I could grow is my tash. The rest of it is all patchy and shit. The mustache, like just when it was Movember, I got fucking mustache waxed a lot, and I was trying to do the old handlebar style, twisting it out. I did it the one day, came home, and she was like, "You can't do that." It's like we've got kids, and you've got to go and pick them up from school.
Exactly. Mine on this side, they're not totally taken by it, But I told them it's going to stay for a while, It's here to stay. I got bored during our lockdown, and I thought I'm just gonna just give it a go.
Yeah. Do you know what? I might just take the bull by the horns one day and just do it. What's the worst that can happen? I shave it off.
Yeah, shave it off, man.
The main problem is I look too much like my old man.
Okay.
For many years, my dad rocked the mustache. Now he's got a full beard now, but for many years, at least 30 of my 34 years, he had just the mustache. And I've already got his voice. I've got his mannerisms. I listen to Talk Sport instead of the radio now. I think it's time to just take the plunge and just go full mustache.
Might as well just jump in and just
We could spend a whole podcast here talking about a mustache.
Yeah.
It's got to be done.
Yeah, you have to, man.
Now, obviously, I've this sounds wrong every time I say it. I come across you on Instagram. Obviously, I've seen a bit of your work, and then I saw you popped up on Gez's podcast, Veteran State of Mind, and I thought, I'm definitely taking a listen to that. Hey, it's fucking brilliant, mate. And I like the fact that you've travelled the world. You're now in New Zealand, which, by the way, I've got better reception talking to you in New Zealand than I do with my brother who lives the other side of England. It's ridiculous.
Bizarre.
His Wi-Fi is terrible. I say time and time again, it's his Wi-Fi, not mine. And this sort of proves it. So far. Touch wood.
Not cool. Yeah.
A man of the world, though. So originally from South Africa.
South Africa, yeah. Born and raised in South Africa, and I left the country was in 2000. I was in 2 months what to do, and then I had my mom. She gave me the idea, just go and travel. Now you wanted to travel, you wanted to go to America. Just jump on the plane, get a job, just go. And then that was the last sort of bit of a shove that I needed, because I felt very sort of constricted in a small town. I say small town, it's quite large. It's a big area. Then we lived on the south coast of South Africa, more towards say Durban, and it was. I felt very restricted in what I want. Everything felt like it was closing in, and I thought I just needed to get out. I need to move. I need to, and I've never flown on a big 747, so that was the first time I actually jumped on an airplane, and I flew, and I actually left the country. I've never been in an airplane. I've never been in a helicopter, and so I left in 2000, went over to the UK, walked into an organised job. So there was a visa in Johannesburg that he organized jobs for travelers like me at the time. So the job's organized, the accommodation is organized, the visa, everything.
Yeah.
And I went straight to a town called Evesham.
Evesham.
Yeah.
Near Bristol, Worcester area.
Yeah. And I went straight to paint foods, and I worked in a big factory there. I didn't see daylight, from 7 to 6.
Yeah, terrible, isn't it? Factory life.
Horrible. But it was top, I was in the country, and then there were loads of other Southern Hemisphere people there, lots of Kiwis, Aussies, South Africans, a few Brits. Yeah, and that's where it started, I loved it. I had no plan.
Yeah. That's mad. That's mad.
I had no plan A, no plan B. I just thought, pack a bag and go. And I haven't been back to.
That's a hell of a step. That. How old were you when you did that?
Oh, geez, I was in my early 20s.
Early 20s, like fuck.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair, when my early 20s, I took the big step. I joined the forces, but like my brother did a similar thing. He went and did a project called Camp America, where he went and looked after.
Yes, I looked into that.
Yeah, some underprivileged kids over in America, and I was like, that's fucking brilliant. But I always needed some sort of structure, which is why I joined the military. I must have a tiny bit of OCD or something like that. But just the idea of just getting on a plane, going to a country that I don't know, and just going, this will do. I'll smash this out. To be fair, my old man does it. My old man randomly before all the lockdowns hit, he phoned me up. In fact, he FaceTimed me, and I saw he was in a pub. I was like, "What are you doing, Dad?" He was like, "I'm in a pub." I went, "What pub?" He went, "I'm in Romania." I was like, "What the fuck are you doing in Romania, you lunatic?" He just went, "Well, I fancied a holiday." And to be fair, he's no longer with me mum, so he's on the circuit doing a bit of CP work.
Okay.
So to be fair, he's on RST now, so he's in residential because he's 70 years old. So he's getting a good fair bit of fucking money's in his pocket, and he doesn't know what to do with it. And a bit like me, once he's got money, he needs to spend it on something. So he's again before lockdown, he was like, "Oh, I'm off to Malaysia soon." It's like, what? I think he was pissed when he bought those tickets. Because I think he immediately regretted it the next morning when he went, "Oh shit, I'm going to Malaysia in a couple of weeks." Fucking lunatic.
Yeah, because I mean, it's but the thing is, if you're going to go to some of those places, you're going to go to well-known tourist places, and Romania is a well-known tourist destination. But that's what you do,
Yeah.
Same with me. I felt like I needed to go when I left, and I haven't looked back since.
Yeah.
And obviously, along the way, certain doors opened, and I went through it, and obviously, I've changed over the years because I left in my early 20s, and I joined the army when I was 26. I think I was the oldest in my intake. My second commander, he was 26, and that for me, it wasn't an issue at all.
Yeah, we had a couple of old boys, I would say, in my basic training. We had a bloke that was, he says he was like early 30s, but when you look back at it, you're like, you're older than that. He had a hard paper round, put it that way. He didn't look good.
Okay.
But yeah, so I found it quite refreshing having like some older heads in there, because you find that they tend to have a bit more life experience. And then when you're like myself, I was 20 years old when I joined up, and I thought I was quite old going in, because you had lads that were 16, 17, 18, and he was like, "What have you guys done? You've just come straight from school." And then you see Big Nev with his mustache rocking around.
Oh yeah, back then I was still very, very much shy, introvert. To myself.
Yeah.
If if they say go do something, I'll go into it to the best of my ability and more, you know. But then they join a unit like or the army or any unit, you know, it changes you. You go through some changes, and then over the years, the self-confidence kicks in, and you're a different person. And,
definitely.
Yeah, and then nowadays it's more like I don't really care much what people think, you know. It is what it is, man.
Yeah, that's one thing I've now started to learn. Now I'm in the next chapter in my life is to take more pride in not giving a fuck what people think. Like,
yeah,
for so long I was like, I always wanted to be liked. I always wanted people to respect what I was doing, etc. And if someone didn't like me for whatever reason, I'd be gutted because I'm like, why don't you like me? What have I done wrong? And for so long, I would keep that sort of burden on me. And I'm like, oh, fucking hell. And I suffer quite badly with depression, and that sort of stuff would really bring me down. I'll tell you what, I need one of those buttons that Joe Rogan's got on his podcast. He's got a cough button. So you can press it. Yeah, so you can cough and it won't pick up the sound. Excuse me. So I do apologize. I've got a bit of a fucking cold going on. But yeah, it's a good thing. And I think going through life as a man of the world now, like every decade, you could say you're a different person, unless you sort of stick to the same job, the same people that are in your life constantly, then you will probably never change. But I went from young Tommo that was a personal trainer in his dad's gym, joined the military, became Tommo the fucking military guy for 5.5 years. Kept hold of that for a bit too long, I think, because that was one of my main problems. I couldn't let go, you know.
Yeah.
And then it was, oh, I'm just a security guard. Oh, now I'm fucking Tommo, the depressed ex-squaddy veteran.
Yeah.
And now I've sort of come into my mid-30s, and I'm sort of like, well, fuck that guy. I'm now doing this. This is a better form of myself. Those guys are all fucking dickheads, but it's all brought me to this fucking next level where it's, well, the next phase.
Yeah, totally. And with me, some of the stage where I can control what they think and what they say, but I can control how I react, you know. And I've heard it before, and it never sinks in, but now it does. I can't control, but I can control how I react to it, you know, and I shouldn't let it bother me, you know. If they say good things and they support me, great, you know. But then if they don't, then fine. I mean, I can control that, you know. Just how I react, you know. And again, it's I went through different phases, different chapters, you know, and there's different characters, so to speak. So I was the civilian, and I was a personal trainer as well in South Africa and the UK. It's like for a short while, and then you know, had on, you know, military, had off. I've done some CP as well, different hats, you know, and you know, family man, not married, you know. I've got 3 amazing kids, so it's all these different hats and different characters, you know. And yeah, it's great looking back into the past, but I try not to stay too much. But it's those times that when I do stay, then I feel like, oh, I need to be depression. You know, you think about, you know, things you should have done and you didn't, and regrets it, and then you think about what you've been through in the military, and it's a waste. You know, you try not to. Why?
It's like I've been trying to get into my head now. Like I said, I kept hold of the military a bit too long, and it was though I wish I hadn't have left when I did. Which, in fairness, I probably think I could have gone a bit longer. But if I did stay a bit longer, I probably wouldn't have had my missus still. She would have. Well, that would have ended 100%. But it's the fact that I couldn't let go. But now I'm sort of getting to that stage where I understand now that I can be proud of what I fucking did. And
so you should, man. And you should be proud.
Yeah, exactly. I'm proud of that, but that's not me anymore. Where before it was, why isn't that me anymore? And that was the main thing for me, was I didn't really take hold of that sort of veteran thing. I was still in my head, I was still serving instead of I'm not. This is what I did.
Yeah.
Like Remembrance Weekend is still my favorite time of year, as morbid as that sounds. But I get to put on the squadron blazer. I get to put the medals back on, and I'm like, hey. Armed Forces Day is the other one, but I don't tend to walk around wearing my fucking medals all the time. I'm not fucking Uncle Albert from Only Fools. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we should be proud because of what we've achieved, and it's hard to switch off, it's because we've gone through so much, the good times and the bad times. We've done together, you go through, you go to units, you go on deployments, you do it all together, there's this massive bond, and that's for life,
Yeah.
To this day, I'm in contact with people that I've deployed with on various operations. I haven't seen them in years, some of my closest friends I haven't seen for a long time now, but that bond is still there. So once you pick up the phone, the band is still there. It's as if as if you've seen them last night.
Yeah.
But no,
so it's always the way. It's always the way.
Yeah, so it's hard to switch off. It's hard to switch from that mindset to, I'm now in civilian street. I have to change my way. It's difficult. It's hard, and it's you have to find what works for you.
Yeah, definitely. I was quite lucky in the time that I left. Two of my closest friends literally left at the same time, and they literally live round the corner from me. So if I'm ever fucking struggling, or if I want to go and talk squaddy bullshit, I've got two fucking mates literally down the road. We started a football team, soccer team, as you probably would call it, you weirdo. Well, we did start that for a good few years, and now we're like, can we go play walking football, because our knees just don't work anymore.
Well, the knees and the hips.
As most of my listeners know, it's mine and my ankles. I've always had shit ankles, and it's my ankles and my knees are just gone. Like I roll my ankle just walking down the road. Yeah, we believe it's a hereditary thing. So I didn't know this until I had my old man as my special guest on my 100th episode. I had my dad on, and he was telling me basically this is your life. He was going through his fucking life. He had his notes. I've never had a guest who had notes. He pulled out his fucking notebook. It was like going, in 1972, I joined the Air Force. It's like, fucking hell. But yeah, he was going through all this stuff, and he said that he almost didn't become a PJI because they told him that his ankles are no good. You can't do it. He told them basically, they're fine, I'll do it. And he ended up being one of the top jump instructors in the country. Going to Hereford and teaching them how to jump properly. but we believe that's got passed to me. So
unlucky.
Yeah, lucky me.
Like your dad said, it's out. You get someone that just plant that seed of, I don't think you should do that. Or maybe you should do something else. And then once that's in there, and then you believe it, you think, oh shit, maybe that person's right.
Yeah.
And I've heard it so many times. It's like, screw that, take the risk, just go and do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
to be fair, he is like that. He's I'll do it until I can't do it, sort of thing. Yeah, he's a top bloke. But before you joined up, you wanted to bodybuild, was it not?
Yeah,
bodybuilding. Gym.
Yeah, Franco, and for me, because back in South Africa, I grew up and I was this very little chubby, shy, introvert kid, and very shy, no self-confidence, and for me, getting into the gym and training, that was my escape, my way of working on me. You know, it's not a team; it's just me. And I started with the training, and a friend of mine had all these muscle magazines, and I started to learn about all these famous, you know, bodybuilders at the time. I thought, yeah, I want to do that, you know, because you don't need a team; it's only you.
Yeah.
And it was for me. I could get in the gym by myself. I don't have to rely on anyone else. And that's where my confidence also grew. You know, and I had my, you know, my mom and my dad. My mom supported me. My dad probably thought, "What the fuck's I'm doing?" You know, he's shaving his chest hair and he's shaving his legs, and he wants to go and compete, and he's wearing fake. And what's this, you know, weird stuff? But I think he was rather proud, and he changed his thought of, or his opinion, when I did a show or a competition in South Africa. And when was it? 98, I think it was. 99, 98 it was. And I think he realized, hang on, he's good, and, you know, he can achieve something.
Yeah.
And for me, that was the dream. I want to go to America, go to Venice Beach, California, be like Arnold. And then I realized, by looking into it, I get a green card, all these visa requirements, immigration stuff. And I thought, this seems impossible.
Yeah.
And then someone said, go to the UK. From there, then you fly over to America. And I thought, super, you know, I can do that, you know. And then I went over to the UK on this 2-year holiday working visa. And that's supposed where you have to, you know, work like a farmer.
Oh, got you. Yeah.
Something else. Well, this course, son, I worked full time as soon as I got there, you know. Well, I'm not going to know.
You're right. It's one of those. Are they going to come and find me in fucking Evesham or wherever you were?
No,
I don't think so.
No have a clue. They checked my passport, and that was it.
Yeah.
And I never got any other details. Back then, it was so much easier to actually get into the country, get a visa. You know, because you had to have, and I think it was £30,000 in your account that you bring over, which I did, but that was my mom and my dad's money. And as soon as I got,
so it just looked like you had it.
yeah, exactly. And as soon as I got through customs, I had it back into their account, you know, and I was just there with my savings.
What a crazy.
And then someone said,
"What a crazy rule! You have to have £30,000 in your account. Why?"
I think it was then the system or government won't. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think,
but yet they let fucking people over willy-nilly on a dinghy and give them benefits.
Yeah,
but that's another story that will get me kicked off air or something.
Yes. Yeah. You shadow banned and you playing Joe Rogan.
Yeah, go full Joe Rogan.
Yeah. No, it was an interesting journey, and then that dream faded away because you go to a different country, you meet different people.
Things change all the time, especially when you're young and you're doing stuff. And bodybuilding alone, even just going to the gym, I would say is it takes a lot of effort at times. I know a lot of people go, well, it's not, it's only an hour a your day. But when you're training bodybuilding or your personal training or whatever, that is literally your life is the gym and eating.
It is, yeah. It is. Well, I mean, bodybuilding itself, it's kind of maybe a bit of a selfish sport because it's all about you. You know, if you're really competitive and want to be the best, it needs to be all about you. You need to be very strict, you know, and for bodybuilders when they're on stage, that's when they at their weakest because your body fat levels are super low.
Yeah, of course.
You dehydrate, but you know, and but again, it's all about what you look like. You know, it's not.
Yeah. Did you ever get any body dysmorphia or anything like that while you were doing it? Or were you fine?
No. For me, back then it was no issue, you know. And I did 2 shows in New Zealand as well. But I mean, for me, it's easy to get onto a plan eat and train, reach that target look that I want or weight. And then once I finish with that, then I'll slowly, build back up.
Yeah.
And for me, it's easy to get into that mind frame of, okay, I'm going to go for the show. This is what I got to do. This is my objective, and this is what I got to do to achieve it.
It's crazy for me, like how uneducated people view bodybuilders in terms of their juice heads. They're all on the gear. It's like, well, yeah, probably 95% of them probably are, but you don't just get massive like that just by taking steroids. There's a lot of dedication, a lot of knowledge in terms of nutrition, diet, and then the actual programming itself of setting out your goals. In the gym, people just think you're a fucking meathead lifting weights. Well, no, there's a lot of sports science goes into bodybuilding.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Because you got to know your body. What works for you. Because what worked for me back then not going to work now, and what works for me is not going to work for you, and vice versa. So you got to know, and if you're really serious and take it to the extreme, then you got to obviously know how much goes into your system, how much protein, carbs, fats, and how much calories per day, per meal. You got to weigh that out, because if you obviously want to lose body fat, you've got to go into calorie deficit.
Yeah.
Or if you want to gain size, you've got to go into a calorie surplus. It's a lot of science, but but you don't have to go and compete. You could still do bodybuilding and don't take it to the extreme. And still enjoy life, and still have it. Go out with your friends, and still have a burger and chips. You don't have to take it that extreme to go and put your body through that much stress. But it's like any other. Super athletes. When they train, they do some crazy stuff.
Oh yeah. Just this morning, to be fair, I've been I must have seen it about 14 times now. I watched the Notorious, the Conor McGregor documentary that he put out. And there's a bit where he's going through his weight cut before the Chad Mendes fight, and he's in getting weighed, and you can see his skin's all drawn back in and whatnot. I was watching it with my missus, and she was like, What's happened there? I went, he's gone for a weight cut. He's literally depleted his body of water, and he's fucking hanging out. She went, why does he look like that? I went, because he's got no water in his body. I went, he's just cut all this weight out that he's done gradually through the week, and then, or through the 6 weeks, should I say, 8 weeks, whatever it was. And now he's gone into the last week, and he will literally suck an ice cube and be in the sauna constantly and things like that. And I went, and that's what happens. And she went, what? And he fights like that. I went, oh no, you'll wait until the next scene, and then the next scene happens, and it's the day of the fight, and he's ballooned back up, and he's back to his normal. I went, he must have put on about 25, 30 pounds in a fucking night. And she's like, how's that healthy? I went, it's not. Why do you think they all get fucking? I went, yes, they get punched in the face, but that's one of the issues, is that their brain and their mind is all fucking dehydrated, and they get punched in the head. That's why they get all the CTE and things. So there's no fluid in there. Brain's just bouncing around willy-nilly. But it's just to be an elite at anything is different gravy. Like,
it does. 100%. It's just a mindset, dedication, discipline, everything,
Definitely. What got you into writing?
Right
out of it.
Good question. I always had that fascination about putting in a pen paper. Always had that reading aspect to it. I loved reading as a kid, and then somewhat, I think it stopped when I went over to the UK, and I picked up reading just before I actually joined. My goal then was to join the parachute brigade. And I thought, that looks awesome. That looks cool. The elite. I want to go and join it. And I then just went out to the bookstore, and I just got everything I could about parachute return. You know, Falkland Islands. You know, all real things that actually took place. I bought those books and I read them from cover to cover, and did my. There was a 2-day selection course at Burbright, you know, and you had to have your mile and a half under 9 minutes 30, and I did it. So they bumped me down to my second course, which was normal infantry battalion.
Yeah,
and then I was happy with that. And then my reading stopped. It was until I deployed again that I went back into my reading. You know, like, because what can you do? You can only sleep or train or read. You know, and I read books. And then when I deployed to Afghan, I thought I'm going to keep a journal purely to log down the amount of times we got contacted, you know, and the amount of times other FOBs got contacted, you know, because it was a lot. But then that turned into me writing how I felt, the scenic, you know, area, because it's a beautiful area, you know, insane and river, and I started just pulling it all onto paper, you know, how I felt and everything. I still kept the amount of contacts, you know, what it was, the time, the duration, and so forth. But then that's spoiled, and then once we finished, I took that journal away in an actual physical shoebox with a few other things with my medals, and I left the armed forces. And it wasn't until 2019 that I came across the Debt Reckoning Collective. It's an American veteran-owned publishing company.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know how I got across there. They ad, I think it was on Instagram, when they had this ad on, if you submit poetry or poems, and if it's good enough, it will go into their second anthology of poet warriors.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
But there was an instant connection, instant click. I thought, heck, I could do that. You know, it just felt right. And I wrote 3 poems. It was in 2019, and I submitted that. I clicked send, and it went. And in the meanwhile, after that, I thought it's a release. It's different. It's hard to explain. And I started to write more. And it's been, and the floodgates has been open, and it's been non-stop. You know, and it just developed from there. You know, and at the same time, just Darren from the Bitten Collective, he came across my work and asked if I wanted to submit work for a book that he was going to go self-publish, you know. And I did stuff for that as well, actually for all 3 books in that series. And it's been non-stop since.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I sort of mentioned this in the messages to you. I used to write poetry as a kid. I used to keep a little red book that I used to just jot. If I found it, I'm swear it's in my mum's. If I look back on it, I'll be like, that's a bit gay. But I'm sure it was all right. But I did exactly the same as you on tour. I kept a journal, which is how I ended up writing my book, Granite Zero. They were my journals from Iraq and Afghan. But even then, I would jot down poetry as well. I just found it, but like you said, it's something about the scenery out there. Like I literally was describing it to my eldest. Funny enough, we're walking to the pub, and she was saying, "Oh, Dad, look how bright the stars are tonight." I went, "Yeah, you should see what it's like when you're in the desert, and when there's no light pollution, so you can literally see everything." Then she said, "Oh, what's it like?" And I was like, "Jess, it's absolutely beautiful." I went, when you're there, you don't even realise you're in a war zone at times. And you look up, and it's like, I always found like sunrise, sunset was just so picturesque, especially like when it was coming over the mountains or whatever, and you're like, fucking, if this wasn't so, if I didn't hate this place so much, this would be beautiful. But yeah, but with me, with my writing and my journals, mine was slightly different to yours, as you were in proper contacts, etc., etc. Mine was more the thoughts and feelings that I was going through because we weren't getting anything. Obviously, I served in the Air Force regiment, so you know when you're behind the wire. I'm joking. I'm joking. When you're out on the ground and you, what a lot of people don't get, we go through the same sort of training as regular infantry. So we get put into our system the same as you guys. We're here to do a job, and that's to pull the trigger at times. So we're bred. That's what you do. You're a killer, etc., etc. And then you sit there and you're waiting. And the only way I could describe my time on tours was very similar to that of Jarhead, where he's waiting for something to happen constantly.
The book.
Oh, it's a fucking that book. That book. Seriously, I watched the movie first. I didn't even realize it was a book to start with until I think it's until the end where it says this book. This is based on the book of. I was like, oh, I want that. I must have read that 4 or 5 times. Even ended up getting it on an audio book, and I would listen to it while I was doing surveillance work. But I was like, this is so similar because you're waiting. It's the constant waiting and the unknowing of what's happening.
Yeah.
But you want something to happen, but you're also shit scared because if something happens, how am I going to react to that?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was basically what mine was all about, was the thoughts and feelings I was going through. Like I was literally the old saying, hurry up and wait. You were hurry up and waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when it did happen, I was sat in the fucking command center on the radio.
Oh, shit.
Standard. Yeah, I ended up being the lead signaler for our squadron on my last tour. Basically, I was put on HQ flight because I put my papers in, and they put me on a HQ flight, and they said, "Oh, can you? Well, we know you're leaving. We're going to keep you on HQ so that you don't get hurt." Basically, and yeah, the most stress I had was in that command center. So many people don't realize how much of a high stress environment that is. You've got all the big wigs, all the stars, all the fucking barcodes floating about, not knowing what the fuck is going on because they're useless. And unfortunately for me, I dealt with every major incident that happened on my squadron, on my shifts. Fucking ridiculous. Didn't matter if I was on nights or days. I was getting all the shit. Oh, fucking unreal. Even when I came, I went off on R&R, which they stitched me up off. So they said to me I could have R&R, and that they'd give me Christmas. Didn't want Christmas. I wanted it in the middle of the tour, so it would split the tour in half. Nah.
Yeah.
They went, no, we're going to give you Christmas. Yeah, they sent me home on, I think it was the 9th of December. So I missed Christmas anyway. So
yeah.
Fucking
Let me know.
But yeah, I've always been an admirer of writing and poetry and things like that. With me though, I've always been a bit lazy with it. I know I can do it, but it's like, well, I can't bother. It's a bit like reading. At the minute, I'm reading one of Ant Middleton's books because my mum got me for Christmas, and I was like, well, I've heard some good things about it. I've heard some bad things about it. I've heard some good things about him. Heard some bad things. I was like, I'll make my own decision. So I'm slowly plowing through it, and I'm so useless, mate, at reading. My dyslexia kicks into overtime. It's like, you don't want to read this, mate. Is there a movie on it? It's literally how I am.
With writing and reading, you have to, for me personally, in order to learn this new skill, this new thing, I have to do it every day.
Yeah.
I have to read a lot. I have to write a lot, So to get through all the bad shits, all the shit poems and the shit literature, to get through where I'm actually good at it, where it's actually it makes sense,
Yeah.
But it does take time, and it does take. It's sometimes for myself, if I sit there and I force myself, it just turns to shit.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. But then this, which I've noticed on Instagram, a lot of people that I do follow and in contact with, they will do a writing prompt, like a 30-day writing prompt. And every day they come up with something else that to write about, And I find that's good because look at this. I look at it as the objective. This is the thing that you got to achieve. Got to do it, and then I can work on that, and then I can get it done. But if I sit here and I'm not in the mind frame, and if I force myself, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it might just, come to my mind, and I might be in the store getting shopping, and then something pop in. I thought, shit. And then I quickly have to take my phone, make a few notes.
Yeah, I've been there before. When I was actually writing the Granite Zero book, and I was trying to put, so I had most of the stuff in the journals, and there was extra bits that I was putting in, mainly towards like the start of my life, because obviously it's a biography. So it's like I was writing the stuff about myself at the beginning, and it's like the bit where I had a bit of a breakdown and whatnot. And when I started the podcast, I was like, how am I going to put that into words? And I remember lying in bed one night, and I fucking restless mind syndrome. So I'm lying there, and I'm like, any chance of me shutting this fucking brain off for a second so I can get some sleep? And then all of a sudden, these thoughts just popped in my head. It's like, this would be really good for the book. And I'm like, fuck. And I pick up my phone quickly, open up the notepad, quickly type it in.
Yeah. Because I'm in the shower. I was standing there showering, and then all these ideas and words and phrases popped in. I thought, no, But then I've seen somewhere where people have these whiteboard in their shower with a whiteboard marker. I think I'll go that far.
Yeah. House full of whiteboards.
Yeah. But yeah, just, and again, it could be something else. It could be music. It could be a song.
Yes.
It will, for whatever reason, it will trigger something, and then when I close my eyes, it will take me straight back to.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Yeah, definitely.
Or maybe a photo or an image, because I tend to switch off anything to do with my operational foods. I don't look into it much. I might have a stage where I've looked at certain photos, and then I'll write about that for a while, and then I'll stop, and then I'll write about something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems to work.
Yeah. I definitely understand the music thing. The music takes you all over.
Yeah.
All over. Well, even to this day, there's a few songs that were on our pass out DVD. They did a big fucking DVD for us all to have, and it's basically all of our basic training put onto this DVD. And they had loads of different songs. There was loads of like Linkin Park, Foo Fighters, and things like that. And there's one song by Linkin Park. I fucking can't remember the name of it now. But it starts and it's like like that. And that is literally the scene of us doing Bayonet. And there's a bit where our corporal is like marching up and down the line. We're all standing there fucking marching. Kill.
Yeah.
And then it's like and then it like that sort of quiets down, and then it's got the corporal stood there and he goes, fix bayonets, and we all there fucking put the bayonets on, and the fucking rock music goes off. I'm like that. Every time I hear it, I could be in the gym, I could be fucking driving, I've got the fucking Spotify on or whatever. That tune comes on, I'm like, oh, I want to go fucking stab some things. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
that was some of the best days of my life were on basic training. As much as of a lick out as it was, at the time you're thinking this is bullshit, I want to quit. But when you look back at it, you're like, that was fucking cool. And I do it now. Even like me and my pal Chris have started looking into rifle ranges and things like that. Because you take for granted when you're that's your job in the military, is to go and shoot stuff, for even if it is just zeroing your rifle or just doing the range days or whatever, or going to Senny Bridge and you're licked out going up the fucking mountains doing fucking coup de grace on a fucking little target. But it's fucking brilliant. At the time, I hated every second of it. I was like, this is shit. I'm licked out. I want to go home. This is bullshit.
Exactly. You don't appreciate it because when it's gone, then you realize, oh shit, it was actually good. You know, you get paid to go to certain countries, you know, to go on the ranges, you know, to fire off all these rounds, these thousands of rounds you don't pay for. You know,
definitely. My brother-in-law just went clay pigeon shooting. He was shit. He got 2 out of 50. Shit. He said to me, he was like, Sean, is there any ranges about? Because that was fucking brilliant. When you try firing a fucking Jimpy or something, mate, when you'll be walking around with a fucking boner. Well, get the machine guns on, you'll fucking love it.
Yeah.
Fucking definitely.
Good times.
Is there any more coming out, veteran collective wise?
Veteran collective, no, I don't know. But I don't think I'll never say no if I don't approach me, or I'll definitely, you know, sit down and contribute more.
Yeah.
But
what about the journals?
The journals,
you're gonna come back to them and publish them?
Well, I have recently, was it at the back end of last year, I have signed a book deal with the Dead Collective. So I'm busy with one of the editors to
awesome.
So
big picture of your grid on there with the mustache.
Don't know. It might be some images of my ugly mug on there. It might not be. I don't know. But yeah, I've got that book deal signed to go. So hopefully by the end of this year it will be out, and it will be all poetry.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, to be fair, I do wish that I jotted more stuff down. I've actually got a little book of poetry upstairs in me drawer that I really haven't got out. I actually stole the name I've put on it, because that's what I like to do. I like to name them.
Okay.
So it's like that's my poetry book. Like, and it's called Whiskey and Wrong Decisions, which I actually then stole that title and put it on as my little. I made a little documentary on YouTube, basically about why I started the podcast, the different issues that I had going on through my different mental health issues that I've got. Now I wish I was like, but that was my poetry book. Why have I stole that? So I don't have to think of a new name. Rum and Party or something like that.
Yeah. You go in and take certain pieces out and go and publish it, you know?
Yeah, but I did. I sent one out. I can't remember it. It was on Instagram again. It was war poetry or something like that. I made a poem about a buddy of mine that took his own life after suffering really badly with PTSD.
Yeah.
Cy Baldwin. So I'll give him a shout out now. I wrote a little poem about that, and I sent that over to someone on Instagram. I can't remember who it was, but that got put on their page with like a fucking war-y picture on it. But it's something that I probably should do more of. But it's also one of those. It's like, well, I don't really want to share that stuff. But then I'm like, well, but yeah, one of those things. Why not? You know.
Yeah. It's up to you. You know, I think it's if you want to risk or take that step. There's a lot of stuff that I have put out there in the internet domain, and a lot of stuff I have, and a lot of it I've kept specifically for my book. But and then the stuff out there that I will write it, I will think about it, leave it for a few days, and then go and put it out. And then I think then there's the self-confidence crumbles, and I thought, oh no, shit, people are gonna think it's shit. Or they're gonna
I'm similar to you in that aspect. I got quite a bit of shit for my book. That's I didn't get quite a bit of shit. I actually had, it was mixed reviews, we'll say. So the ones that read it tended to be those that weren't in the military, thought it was good. those that served alongside me basically said it was shit. Which was hard to take, because it was friends, or friends, should I say, not friends anymore. They can go fuck themselves. And it's not that I wanted their sort of appreciation of it or their positive feedback. I didn't really want any feedback. I wasn't the one reading the feedback. It was the missus that was reading the feedback, and it was getting to her a bit. But they put a lot of hate and a lot of nasty, stinging fucking words into their reviews, shall we say. And a lot of it was bullshit. A lot of it was attacking the actual writing itself, which is understandable. It's a book, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm not exactly fucking William Shakespeare when it comes to writing. Well, we'll put it this way: it took me 5 attempts to get a C in English language, and I'm English. That's ridiculous. So when it actually comes to punctuation, spelling, and things like that, I was shit. I hold my hands up. It's probably not the greatest fucking piece of literature you're ever going to read in terms of that, but the actual telling of my story, I thought it was pretty good. And I even had
you told your story, you know.
Yeah.
That's brilliant in itself, you know. It's
I like to put on my Facebook bio now that I'm an author. Says Sean Thompson, podcast host and author, and then my actual job is somewhere hidden in the actual
small print.
Yeah, the small print.
Yeah, it's because I remember when I started my writing, I just kept it all rather not secret, but rather quiet, you know, because I don't share any of it on Facebook. I know a lot of my you know, friends that I ride with, you know, from the battalion, from the regiment, you know, I keep quiet, you know, because I was afraid of what they might think, what they might say, you know. My poetry is all, you know, wrong, and then I put it on Instagram, so I created this account, put it all up there, and it then just took off, you know, and people that that had different comments or opinions. I think in the beginning it hurt, but after a while you think, well, you know, back at this, you know, people worries.
That was the main ones that I had. Was like, some of them hurt for a bit. Like, one of them was well, he was a very close friend of mine that actually was at my wedding. He was part of my guard of honor when I got married. And instead of reaching out to me to say whatever he had to say, he decided to make little stupid videos of me. And there was a few others that would make videos where they would take snippets of each podcast, sort of thing, of me saying certain things, and they'd make a compilation of it. So I looked like a fucking dickhead, which I actually applauded their editing skills, because I don't edit any of my shit because I'm too lazy. So I fair play to you, like. But it took me a while to sort of accept that there's always going to be some sort of dickhead out there that's going to not like what you do.
Yeah.
And my brother has always said, he was like, don't listen to that stuff. He went, don't read the comments, don't listen. Even if they're positive comments, you don't need to read them. He was like, do what you got to do. You're doing the stuff that you need to do, and just do it. And
yeah, precisely, man.
Haters will always hate at something. And it's like, yeah, you're right. But like I said at the start, I'm one of those that was like, why don't you like me? Be my friend.
Yeah.
But, you know, we move on. And I think that quite a lot of the haters that hate are probably the ones that are dealing with issues and are too afraid to say anything about it. And take it out on someone who is actually quite happy to stand there and say, I've got problems. You know? So
exactly.
if they do have any problems and you listen to this and want to send me some hate, how about you send me some love and I will help you out with your problems that you got in your head.
Oh man.
So
Even if, yeah.
Oh yeah, carry on. Sorry.
No, even if you look at writers, poets from the First and Second World War, phenomenal, British writers. It was a thing back then.
Yeah.
To have work out there and right on the front line, and they went through horrendous experiences. A lot of them died on the front.
Yeah.
And then it was acceptable, but then years later, it sort of became not acceptable. If you write,
It's strange, isn't it?
It was frowned upon, but then it changed. Now you've got this rather big group of veterans. There's a few other British writers that I follow. After my work published with, and there's a lot of Americans. So there's this big group now, that served in Iraq, Afghan, maybe Africa, that's into writing. They've published stuff. They've written novels. So it's no except I just find it bizarre that it will go through these stages that where it's accepted, it's good, and then it's frowned upon.
Yeah, it's strange. It is strange.
Bizarre.
But it's the same with any sort of hate, isn't it? It takes a lot of effort. Like I can't pretend that I haven't done any type of fucking commenting or anything like that. I find myself getting into Facebook arguments all the time. But I'd never go out of my way for example, you put some work out. Like, for example, say you're an artist and you've done a painting and you put it on your Instagram and I follow you or I've seen it. I wouldn't go, do you know what? That's shit. I'm going to tell him that is shit. Because it's probably not shit. It's just I don't like it.
Yeah. But that's social media. It's given them this platform to voice their opinion. If it was years back, it would be where they have to write into the magazine or the newspaper, and then the editor photo of the painting you've just published, last month is shit. That's the negative side of social media. It's given them
all the positives of social media
on the phone.
Yeah, all the positives that you get, and then you get negatives like that, and everyone's a critic. But I've always had that sort of thing in my head that they wouldn't come up to me and say it to my face. Like, I wouldn't if I didn't like one of your poems, but one of your poetry, good English, I wouldn't go up to your face and Nev, mate, that's fucking shit, mate. Because there's no need. Unless you knew it was shit and I knew it was shit and we're having a beer down the pub and just go, mate, that was a shit one, wasn't it? Yeah, it was shit.
Yeah, exactly. But also, if it was, say, you're the editor of this publishing company and I've submitted work to you and we sit down together and then you say to me in a constructive way, okay, this poem, it might not go with the, with the whole, feeling or thought of the book or the manuscript. Something is off. This one, it looks good, but it might not go. Or if you break it down constructively, if you know what you're talking about, and you're a good editor, and you can look at stuff and you say, okay, when there's first couple of lines, let's take them off, let's change them. You don't say, oh, Nev, shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You say, Nev, let's just change this, or I like, good effort into this section here, but it's not going to go. Yeah. But again, it's just giving them this platform, and it's easy. They hide behind a keyboard and they knock it out.
Definitely. My eldest she is a whiz in terms of literature and things like that. She writes short stories at school, and every time she writes one, it ends up going to like the head teacher and the head teacher award and things like that. She's fucking brilliant. And I just love the fact that she's got that. Like every night, we literally have to go up to her bunk bed and take the books off her bed. She will go to bed with about 4 books. She's reading like 4 books at a time. I don't understand how she's doing it, because I physically can't do it. I'm struggling with 1 book, and you're there going, right, I'm sort of bored of that one for a minute. I'm going to read this one now. She's just incredible, and I love the fact that she's into that sort of thing. Like, it's brilliant. And I've been trying to encourage her to write a bit more. She likes writing diaries. I don't know if she's still doing it. I'm trying to get her. She's sort of plateaued a little bit in terms of her writing, and unless she's at school. And I believe it's down to her phone. She likes doing her TikToks and stuff like that. It's quite funny, actually. So we cooked dinner tonight, me and my eldest, this will be the second time she's getting into, like, wants to be a bit more independent, I believe. She's getting to that age. And we're doing a spaghetti bolognese. So we're doing all the cooking, and every now and then I'd like take a pot or something to go and wash up. I'd turn around and she's randomly. I had random noughties R&B music on. So stuff that I grew up listening to was on the Alexa. And I turned around and she's doing all these stupid fucking movements. I'm like, what are you doing? She went, oh, sorry, I just can't help it. I'm like, fucking TikTok, innit? You're doing TikTok dances while you're cooking the spag bowl. Get a grip. No. Your kids into any of that, or are they too old?
No. Well, my eldest, she's 10, so not 10. Into what she.
Same age as my eldest, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then after my boy, he's 8, and my other one is 6. She's 6.
Do you know what? Our kids are the same age.
No way.
Well, I've got 2. So my youngest will be 8, 25th this month.
No way.
Fucking crazy ages, mate. Crazy ages.
Busy all over the place. Yeah. So she's into the devices, into the laptop, and they want to play these games. And my boy's into PlayStation, but they're not into the violent games just yet. And I want to.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be exposed to that just yet, you know. But my elder, she's same as yours, into reading books, Harry Potter. She's into writing as well, and I don't want it to lose it, you know.
Yeah,
I want it to keep
so my eldest is really into Harry Potter, like unbelievably. Like, she started reading those books when she was probably about 5, I believe. Like, she's always been ahead of herself in terms of reading, which is quite funny, because now at their school they have this like accelerated learning that they have to do, or accelerated reading. And she came home one day and she was really distraught. She was in tears. She's like, Daddy, they're saying I'm not allowed to read these books because I did. Basically, she gets very anxious when they say it's a test. So basically, she has to read a book and they take a test on it. Yeah. So they told her that she's got to do this test, and she started flapping, as she does, and she fucked the test up, which is fucking happens. And I said to her, I went, what are you all about? And she was like, they said I'm not allowed to read it anymore. I was like, what? Read what you want to read. If you feel like you can read it, you can understand it, read it. When you've been reading Harry Potter since you were 5 years old, don't let the school tell you can't read Harry Potter because you didn't take a test on it. Fuck off. Yeah. But yeah, she loves Harry Potter. Always has done. Cried when Dobby died. Spoiler alert. But yeah, I was even down to a friend of mine and my brother's is Daniel Radcliffe's CPO.
No way.
We managed to get her a signed photo. So we went to, funny enough, me and my wife met at King's Cross Station. We're talking on the internet, and that's where we finally met, was at King's Cross Station. So we were on a trip around London, and obviously they've got this new Harry Potter sort of exhibit thing that they've got there, where you can push the cart through 9 3/4. So she's got a photo of her at 9 3/4 doing whatever fucking girls do. Yeah. So we took a photo of that, and I printed it out and gave it to my pal, who then got Daniel Radcliffe to sign it for her. And that's literally pride in place on our fucking mantelpiece next to my fucking medals. Fucking signed photo of her and Daniel Radcliffe. Brilliant.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Well, I love that. And I love the fact that she prefers to read a book than use a Kindle.
Yeah.
As well. She gets that from her nan. So my missus' mum is very wordy. She's very articulate, very, we call her bookie, but I don't think that's a word. But she loves books, but she's more into, she has a Kindle, so she'll read it on a Kindle.
Yeah.
But my eldest, her bookshelf is full of books.
Yeah.
She keeps saying to me, she keeps going, "Can I read yours?" I'm like, "It's got the worst language in it. You're not reading that yet."
We have to wait a few more years.
Yeah. Fucking C-bombs dropped all over the shop on that one.
Oh, geez, yeah. That's the other thing. I remember in the beginning where I started to write stuff that I was thinking, I'm just getting a bit worried, because what if my wife reads some of this stuff, or my mom, or my dad? Then they can think or interpret that line or the thing differently.
Yeah, I get your meaning on that one.
Over that now, where I'm going to put it out there, and it's for the individual to interpret the way they want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Yeah. So similar. I started off similar to you in terms of trying to get the kids not to play these violent video games, should we say, until I got Red Dead Redemption, and I was playing it, and I was blowing people's heads off, and my youngest came over and she was like, "Daddy, you just killed someone." I was like, "Yeah, I know, it's cool, isn't it?" Just shooting people's heads off, and then I ended up getting the Assassin's Creed game, and I'm fucking killing Saxons with a fucking Thor's hammer that I managed to get because I'm awesome. But to be fair, they never ask to play those games. They never come up to me and say, "Daddy, can I play Red Dead Redemption?" I'm like, "No, you can't." But what we did get them, and I ended up fucking demolishing them out because I'm awesome. We got a Mario Kart for the Nintendo. and they were going around it, and they were like, "Daddy, why are you so good at this level?" And I went, "Because that level came out in 1998.
Way before you.
Yeah, before you were even a twinkle.
No, it's definitely it's hard work. It's busy life. Having kids, trying to steer them in the right direction.
Yeah. Oh, we had it earlier, mate. So, like I said, we were cooking dinner, and every now and then my eldest would disappear, and short attention span syndrome, I think. But she was sat on the sofa, and I saw her talking to my wife, and I was like, "Oh, that looks like a deep conversation." My eldest is starting to go through the change, shall we say, and we're worried. Get my words right. We're worried that the the dreaded code red is on its way. She keeps getting these stomach aches, and her moods keep changing. She's crying for no reason, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm a dude. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But I saw him sat on the sofa, mate, and then I overheard, "Mummy, where do babies actually? How do you make babies?" I was like, "Oh, fuck that! I'm shutting the door. I'll cook the spag bol on my own. You can deal with that fucking conversation."
Yeah.
Not ready for that.
I'll be the same. I'll be like, "Oh, you go speak to your mum."
Not ready for it.
Get a phone call.
Yeah. Well, I had an email from the school, and it was like, just so you know, in the human studies class that they've got, they will be discussing puberty and periods. And I was like, oh, fuck that noise. I was like, I'm immature as it is, and I'm 34. There's no way that my fucking 10-year-old daughter is going to be talking to me about periods. That's not happening.
No, just mum.
Yeah, that's what your mum's for. I was like, if we had a little dude, I'd be quite happily to go for a long walk and talk to him about the birds and the bees. But
yeah,
not with my little angel. That's not happening.
Yeah, that's probably the best decision to send it to your wife.
Oh, but my youngest she's a character, mate. She's so full of sass and she's so full of confidence. Like I've always been confident when I get to know someone. I can be quite confident and understand what I'm going for, and like now I'm sort of opened up. I can talk to you, blah blah blah. I'm gonna be quite confident. That's fine. My youngest, she could do that fucking all the time. She's such a character. Like, for example, she was eating her fucking bolognese today with chopsticks just because. I was impressed that she could use chopsticks at 8 years old, because I still can't, and I'm fucking old as shit. But yeah, she's fucking brilliant. She came home the other day and she was like, "Daddy, just so you know, got a boyfriend." I was like, "Sorry, do you just say you have a boyfriend?" She went, "Yep, his name is Jax. He's awesome." I was like, "He's Jax." She was like, "Yeah." And I went, "Is he a character in Mortal Kombat? Because that's not a name. Is that short for Jackson?" Or she was like, "No, it's just Jax." And I was like, "Did he ask you?" She went, "Yeah." And I went, "Well, he didn't ask me. Where's the there's a fucking rule here." He hasn't asked my permission. Where does he live? Fucking hell.
Yeah,
She's gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah, I'm the same. You know, when they come, especially my boy, he will come out to me and says, "Oh, Dad, I've got 4 girlfriends." I'm like, awesome, it's great, you know. But at that age, you don't really know.
Yeah.
You know, they'll talk to the girl might talk to him, and then he might think, "Oh, we boyfriend and girlfriend," you know. But then
Yeah.
the boy will come over to me saying, "Oh, that's the boy that I know." Wait, what's his name? Where does he live? You know, my son would come over to me. "Oh, awesome, high five, you it's awesome." And my wife is giving with the evil eye, saying, "How can you, you know?"
Yeah, different rules. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
They're my angels. I know what boys are like. I was one.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's become where, that lad is going to knock on your door and he's going to introduce the person.
I'm not looking forward to that day. I will at that sort of time period, I will be then part of a gun club, and I will have my shotgun in my house, and I will be polishing it as he comes through the door. Nah.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, I'd like to be a bit like my father-in-law in that aspect. He was brilliant when he met me. Like, and the fact that my missus's family, they're all so nice. Like, I always said to her, I was like, if we ever broke up, I'd be properly gutted. Not just because I've lost you, but I've lost your family, because they're fucking brilliant. Like, her dad he's just the nicest bloke ever. He's a big fucking kid. He's a 54-year-old kid, but like, he was just brilliant. He was just the way he's like, sort of welcomed me to the family as though I was one of them, instead of like, I remember one of my exes going around, like, and he was ex-army bloke, I believe. He was weedy. He was a horrible, scrawny little scouse bastard. He was horrible, and he just made me feel like a fucking dickhead when I went round there. And I was like, well, you can make me feel like a dickhead. I'm going to go finger bang your fucking daughter in a minute. And I would hate that. Do you know what I mean? I would hate to have that impression on the kid that he would, like, they would then sneak around. Like, I'd rather know where they were so I could beat the fuck out of him instead of having to go and find him.
With your tracker.
Oh, trackers, mate. I'm gonna be tracking them.
Yeah, it's we have to cross that road. We have to walk one day.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm more than happy to, read a bedtime story to my youngest daughter and have my oldest daughter reading Harry Potter and being in this moment, because once this moment is gone, it's not going to repeat itself,
Yeah, exactly.
It might change, they might want to read different stuff or might not want to read at all,
Yeah. And I've found little common little things that I've got with each of them now. So my eldest is a proper Stranger Things geek. She loves Stranger Things. So that was our thing too. I watched them all before she even seen them, just to make sure they're okay. Well, no, because I really wanted to watch it. But yeah, that's our little thing. And now my my youngest, she came up to me, and I was so happy when she said it. She went, "Daddy, can we watch Star Wars?" It's like, fucking right, we can. Fucking right, we can. So we're currently gliding our way through the Star Wars sagas. She's obsessed with she keeps calling him Baby Yoda, and it's winding me up because it's not fucking Baby Yoda. It's got his own fucking name, his own character. But yeah, it's just nice. And like growing up, for me, my common interest with my dad was always football. But unfortunately, that was my brother's common interest with my dad, and he was the eldest. So my dad would go and watch him play football. I'll be left on my own. That's I blew that out of proportion. But yeah, it's just one of those things that I was like, I wish we had more of a. That was my thing with my dad, and to be fair, now we sort of do. So although he lives with my brother at the minute, me and my old man have still we've always got that Air Force connection. That's our thing, which is why I always say I'm the favourite. I'm the favourite with both parents, all the grandparents. I'm everyone's favourite. That goes back to me wanting to be loved by everyone. I'm everyone's favourite. Yeah.
Especially some connection that with the Air Force thing. Both, if you talk about that, you would understand. You would both know.
Yeah.
You can't explain anything. You just know.
Yeah, exactly. I've literally just got him a present. Hopefully, he doesn't. What am I saying? Hopefully, he doesn't listen to this. He doesn't listen to this. He doesn't even know what a podcast is. So I've just had a frame made for him by I think his name's John Cap. Brilliant frame that he's done for him. It's one that you can open up. You can take the medals out, and then you can take the beret out if you want. But it's got his jump brevet in the corner, and then his prison service patch in the other corner, and then a couple of photos. So they're all stuck into the glass, as it were.
Yeah.
But you can open it up, and you can get all the other bits out. Just had that made for him for his birthday, which
that's awesome.
I was like, I've got to do something. Like every year, it's like obviously every year is his birthday. That was almost a stupid comment, but it's always, oh, when you come down next, we'll go out for a pop of beer and we'll have a good chat. Because I live so far away from the rest of the family, we don't tend to have that fucking moment. So it's like, I'm not there for your birthday. I can't go and give you. And plus, I know for a fact you don't like birthday cards. If I sent him a birthday card, he'd be like, oh, thanks. Cheers.
Yeah, but that's almost all dads, because my dad's the same way. It's not a big deal. It's like, I couldn't care less, But the moms and the kids.
Oh, if I don't give my mum a birthday card, fucking she hits the roof, mate. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I got to do, like, she says, I don't really want a present as long as I get a card. Fuck off.
Do you see more flowers?
Yes, always send flowers.
Yeah.
Flowers on a card. Then I'm the golden child again. Even though I live all that way down. Yeah, favorite, mate.
Yeah.
I won't be. If I just have the tash, she'll literally think I'm my old man, and she won't like me then. So, got to think that through.
Yeah, it's difficult. Or even we go to your old man, you have it, and when you go and see your mom, maybe she have it off or have it all.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, that's a tricky one because my missus hates it when I'm clean shaved. Which I always try and remind her. I'm like, I was clean shaven when I met you. So, strange one.
Yeah. Who are you going to keep happy? That's the thing.
Exactly. I've got to keep someone happy. To be fair, last time I went, so usually it's if I have a job interview or something like that, I'll go clean shaven because I think it's a better impression.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember I did it for the job that I currently have now, which would have been like 3 years ago or so. So I went clean shaven. I came downstairs and my youngest was like, who the fuck's that? Not in those words, I hope, but she was like, who's that? I was like, it's Daddy. She was like, oh, is it? I was like, oh, you know who I am. You can tell by the ears. Creature. So you got much more planned for the day? Bit of writing?
Day off, no. I just really want to work on getting this book out with the Debt Reckoning Collective. So we're working with the editors on that one. In the meanwhile, I'm still dotting things down because I think eventually when this book gets released, after that I would like to maybe venture into something else, maybe a novel, maybe a biography, maybe a memoir. I think maybe a memoir, something like that, where I want to branch from that because I enjoy the process. I enjoy getting what's ever going on in here, getting on paper. And then there is something for my kids to read one day, And again, like I said before, I think I mentioned on social media where all these notes, all these scribbles, all these, poetry, when eventually will make sense to them one day. And so that's the plan. But then meanwhile, I do make time to put something to paper,
That's awesome, mate.
Or maybe if I get up early enough in the morning and get that done. But so far that's the main aim, to work on that and get the final things sorted and get that book out. Awesome. And then maybe after that, who knows,
Well, you make your novel and then that will get caught up and then end up as a screenplay and then you'll have your movie.
You never know, man. You never know. It's not watching as who you know. If you know the right people, it's possible.
Exactly. You know me, so, and I know no one, so don't use me.
Now I'm pretty sure that you know a few people, man. I'm pretty sure that you know a few people.
I know a couple of people.
Well, there you go.
I know the bodyguards for Daniel Radcliffe, so there's your star right there. He could play.
Yeah, exactly. So I could get hold of him via you to get in touch with the writer who wrote the books. What's her name? Forgot her name.
J.K. Rowling.
Yeah. Get in touch with her and then organize something where I can, the two of us can combine our words and make this fantasy military.
There you go. Bosh, we sold it. We've done it. You heard it here first on the Ground Zero podcast. Exclusive.
That's my say done.
That's what we do.
We connect.
Oh, that's awesome. But Big Nev, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I've enjoyed this.
Me too, man. No, thank you.
I could have done this for a few more hours, but I know that a certain person will start going, why aren't you in yet? Because I'm in my happy place. That's why.
Man cave.
I'm in my shed drinking Guinness.
Yeah.
But no, it's been brilliant, mate. I really appreciate you coming on, as I always say. It's been an honor and a privilege to have you on. So thank you very much.
No, thank you, man. Appreciate the time.
And I have to say, this is one of the first times that we've gone through the whole fucking episode and there hasn't been a cutout or a huge technical difficulty. So that just proves it's not my internet, it's all yours. So, because Big Nev is in fucking New Zealand winning.
Happy days.
Happy days. Cheers for coming on, big man.
Thank you, man.
Catch you in a bit.
Yep. Cheers, mate.